Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event with your host, TB Scouting MMA, and
the Guru back again for UFC Edmonton. We've got Brandon, the assassin baby Moreno, taking on Amir Albazi in your flyweight main event. And your co-main event is a title contender eliminator, as we established before the show, between Aaron Blanchfield and Rose Namajunas, your former champion, at a different division. But before we can get into all of that and all these fans, it's a big card. But we've got a very special guest in the building, a friend of ours, one of the premier best upper echelon, top level MMA reporters in the game, working for Sportsnet, our resident Canadian himself, Mr. Aaron Bronstetter. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's my pleasure. You know, TB mentioned to me off the top that last time around I was on Valentine's Day, and now I'm on Halloween. So we just got to keep these Hallmark holidays rolling for us to do these shows.
That's so true. I forgot.
What are you guys up to on what's another good Hallmark holiday? Any spring New Year's Eve or something we can do? Something along those lines.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out. That's wonderful.
Maybe like Cinco de Mayo. Or,
yes, exactly.
Like oh my God! Wow, you're
Dia de los Muertes. We'll figure it out.
Listen, if you're not one of the 87,000 people following Aaron Bronstetter over on X, make sure you go do that. He's breaking news all the time. He's getting elite interviews, exclusive interviews with elite fighters. I mean, he's just the content that Aaron's putting out is top tier. So make sure you guys go give him a follow.
I would agree. Always the best guest. And with UFC Edmonton on the docket here, we couldn't do anyone else but our man, Aaron. So fantastic. Make sure if you guys haven't done so already, it's not too late to do the right thing. Please like the video. It helps out so much. Throw a comment. Let us know your best bet. We'll bring it up. What's going on, Mushroom? How you doing? Appreciate you joining the show and giving us all our individual shout outs as per always. And Daz, one of the best guys out here. Always supporting everyone in the community. So let's get after it. What you guys really came here for. We will not waste any time. We've got the assassin, baby, Brandon Moreno versus the Prince, Amir Albazi. Guru didn't give him his nickname, but I will. That's his actual nickname.
I forgot he's the Prince.
Yeah, how dare you? Not the Prince of Bel-Air. Maybe that's why you forgot.
That's one of my favorite shows of all time, so that's fair.
I know it is. Anyways, see, this is the electric content you get when you got two actual friends doing a show together. But anywho, the assassin baby here, minus 175, steadily taking the money as the week goes in versus Mr. Albazi, plus 145. Couple notable layoffs for these guys. Brandon Moreno comes out of the Royval fight, split decision, tough, high output on both ends, and looked a bit flat, and then talks about wanting to take an extended period off, take some time away. You know, he needs a little bit of time away. He comes back, talks about some of the mental health struggle of being at the top and all that. And then Amir Albazi, I mean, we're talking about, you know, having heart arrhythmia, having a corrective heart surgery, and also having, from what my understanding is like there had to be some type of like stenosis or disc bulge, disc herniation that Albazi ended up needing to get corrective procedure for. He could. And this is kind of like the field that I work in. So really, like when the nerve is being impinged upon, it makes it so weak that you can't even get like 5 pounds of force trying to like lift your arm up or do a bicep curl. So it depends exactly which level was affected. But this is the type of thing that we saw in like the Ramiz Brahimaj, Li Jingliang coming back against Carlos Prates. And these are guys that just didn't look quite the same. However, you know, then you go look to the other side of things, and we did a little more digging. It's like also Aljamain Sterling. He's commenting on Amir Albazi's post saying like, yeah, this surgeon is the best. Also, Cody Garbrandt commenting like this is the most prominent neck surgeon, you know, spinal surgeon that works with UFC fighters, it seems. And Aljamain Sterling comes back from his and beats Petr Yan in a split decision in the next fight. You don't do that unless, you know, things went pretty well. And from all things considered, Amir Albazi looks in better shape than ever. You know, I mean, the dude looks absolutely shredded. He's been out of fight ready in Zona, so he probably doesn't even have to travel too far. Moreno, he's probably doing the same thing he's been up to, but I mean, quite frankly, where's this guy at? Like, I know Albazi's still hungry. Albazi looks to be in great physical shape, and Moreno, there's just the lingering questions with the commentary job now, or that he has been doing for a while. But you know, he lost the title twice now, and to this point, is he really on the trajectory to come back and earn the title fight back again? I don't see it. I think, you know, he's one of those guys where he's young, but he's been in this game for so long. And I think he sees the benefit of moving towards staying in the sport, but shifting towards the commentary aspect. And yeah, so I don't know. I think this fight goes the distance no matter what. I don't think either guy's being finished
You
here.
motherfucker.
Right?
Why don't you just steal my thunder?
Everything. What do you got, Guru?
No, you know what I got. I got this fight going the distance, goddammit. I'm the one that put you on. We got
Let's
minus
go.
166 over on FanDuel. The rest of the market seems to be creeping up towards minus 200. Brandon Moreno never been finished. I don't think Amir Albazi finishes him. If he were to, I think it would be probably on the realm of like a club and sub, or honestly just the sub in general. But I don't really see that coming. But both sides of this coin, like you diced up perfectly before stealing my thunder, TV. Yeah, Brandon Moreno, mental health.
I should have passed it off right before that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did. You almost did. It's okay, buddy. You got excited.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Not the first time we've got a little too excited and let things slip.
hey, easy.
Hey, oh my God. I'm sorry. It's not Valentine's Day.
Jesus. But that brings up my spicy DMs to Aaron, which I wasn't going to bring up, but now we have. Yeah, so, you know, Brandon Moreno, never been finished, tough as nails, coming off not one split decision, but two split decision losses. Amir Albazi coming off a split decision win. How different would we be looking at him if that fight was a loss versus Kai Kara-France? Many people did feel like it. A lot of the takedown attempts from Amir Albazi seemed fairly uninspired or uninspiring during that Kai Kara-France fight. But Kai Kara-France has shown that he has the best takedown defense in the division. We watched that Askarov fight. I mean, the shit's incredible. So I kind of end up going back and forth with it. I still have my CLV ticket on Moreno at minus 150. I don't think I'm going to keep it. I'll be able to cash out with no penalty. But with a fight expecting to go the distance, I think you've got to go dog or pass with a guy that now is going to have some level of grappling upside. And I don't think either guy's getting it finished. So I think this fight goes to the distance at a very high clip. So we have 2.5 units on fight going the distance. Aaron, I know you've been hitting them dark throws. I see you. I know you're just you're not just an MMA media member, right? You know what to do to cash those tickets. So help us out here. What do you got?
I'm kind of right with you guys on this one. Like, I think that decision is like, it shouldn't be minus 200. It should be like minus 300. Like, these guys don't get finished for the most part. And that being said, we haven't really seen Albazi in 5-round fights. Was the fight? I think the fight with Kara-France was a 5-round fight. So maybe I'm wrong on that. And that was a very close fight. However you slice it, you know, a lot of people thought that was a robbery. I think that robbery is probably the wrong word for something like that. But I think ultimately, like, this is a fight that likely goes to a decision. And having kind of, you know, done a lot of research on these guys, because I've interviewed them both this week, it just seems like Amir Albazi just has no life. Like, all he cares about is training, and then he goes home. I was talking to his coach, Eddie Cha. This is his first camp that he's done with Fight Ready, and Eddie's like, all this guy does is train and then go home and watch fighting, and then come back and train and then watch fighting. Like, when you're in your, like, entering your prime like that, and all you're doing is thinking about fighting, you don't have any other, like, things that you're dealing with in your life. Like, Brandon Moreno's got kids. He's, you know, got hobbies. There's stuff he likes to do. He does a lot of media. He does commentary. Like, he's being pulled in a lot of different directions, whereas Albazi isn't. But that being said, I think, you know, talent for talent, like, if you're looking at this from a straight up matchup standpoint, I think that Moreno probably has more ways of winning this fight. I think if he keeps this fight on the feet, he's a far more voluminous striker than Albazi is. Albazi doesn't throw a lot of volume, you know, whatsoever. So I think that Moreno more often than not wins this fight. But at the current price tag, I think that's probably lined about where it should be. I think that Moreno should be probably about a minus 160, 170 favorite. So the line has kind of is where it probably should be. It's kind of like the ceiling for Moreno right now. Like I think if you start seeing it creep into -200, -225, then it becomes kind of more of a dog or pass situation. But I think it's lined kind of correctly based on their skill sets and how this matchup goes. I think that the most likely scenario is Albazi goes for takedowns, Moreno stuffs them, Moreno lands more volume, and then you look at the qualitative strikes versus quantitative strikes, and if Albazi's landing big, which he hasn't really shown a propensity to do, he's not really a big striker. More of a grappling threat, if anything else. And we've seen Moreno against these grappling threats. He usually does pretty well and answers the call against those kind of fighters. So I think, the -200 fight goes with decision is the safest bet for this main event.
I think you make a lot of sense, and it's kind of why I was originally leaning towards Moreno, which I honestly, I'm probably going to need to continue to sleep on it and figure out really where I sit. What credence do you give, Aaron, to Amir Albazi, right, training at Fight Ready, who must know Brandon Moreno very well, right? I mean, I believe Figueiredo trained there for a minute and helped train against him, and then Brandon Moreno himself trained there as well. So they must know him very well.
Yeah, and I know Moreno has trained with Albazi before as well, so they've felt each other in the gym. And not to mention that Albazi is also going to like the Moreno whisperer, Henry Cejudo. He's doing some of his camp with Cejudo. So I think these are a lot of people that know how to dissect Brandon Moreno's game. But that being said, does Albazi have like the requisite skill set that you need to solve that puzzle? And I'm not sure he does. I think it really comes down to whether he can have success in the grappling in order to get it done.
Yeah, that's it. I appreciate it a lot. I think that's exactly where the crux of the fight heads out. But yeah, seriously, shout out Forrest Daniels. Appreciate you, man. I don't know if we.
I thought TB was cheering for my points, that my poignant points that I was making, but it turns out it was just a YouTube comment that got him going.
Yeah, right. God damn it, TB.
Not my great
what are you
insight.
doing to Aaron?
It was the combination of the beautiful poignant points and
No, it
Forrest
wasn't.
Daniels. So now we have to address this. I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Guru is probably more the type to try to take his friends to the strip joint, but I don't look like Ari Schaefer, so fair enough. And Aaron could be the bouncer of said strip club.
Ari Shafir is not an attractive man, so I don't know how to feel about that. He has got nose the size of his face. And yeah, TV has never even been in the parking lot of a strip club.
I've driven by when I've waited to the fine establishment. All right, cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield versus Thug Rose Namajunas. Sorry, but oh my goodness, this should be an interesting matchup here. -130 on the Blanchfield side, +110 on the Rose side. There's a couple layers to the fight where we've seen Aaron struggle with, Manon Fiorot, her movement and striking, but then we've seen Rose struggle with the forward pressure, the wrestling threat, and the cardio issues of having to constantly defend and scramble and deal with those types of issues. So, I don't know. I'm having a really tough time picking this matchup. I keep on seeing where Aaron could have just enough success, like being the fighter on the front foot, making Rose work off the back foot, and, fighting to the clinch, trying to get body locks and trying to use her physicality. Because, she might not be, the most explosive athlete, but she's pretty strong and she's tough. It's just, Manon Fiorot is just a different level of, height and thickness and athleticism and musculature. You look at what Rose Namajunas is packing, and it's just totally different structure than a fighter like Manon Fiorot, who also beat Rose Namajunas pretty solidly. So in this matchup here, I think the wrestling threat of Blanchfield is probably what's going to hold precedence overall, because it's not like Rose is a better striker than Manon Fiorot. And Aaron's basically had her most nightmare matchup in her home, state, fighting in front of all of her friends and family against this gigantic French woman that
importantly, fighting in front of us.
Fighting in front of us. Yeah. So ultimately, I got to go cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield here. She's the younger fighter. I think I don't know that she's made enough improvements in the striking to compete if this fight was to be a 25-minute kickboxing match. So that's what's making me hesitate from pulling the trigger, is I don't think she has the advantage everywhere. And she's not the underdog.
Wait a minute. 25-minute kickboxing match. This is a
15?
5-round call. I don't know. Is it a 5-round call? Why would it be?
It's a 5-round fight.
It is?
Yeah.
It's a 5-round call. Yeah. It's the first
ever.
It's the first ever non-title women's 5-round co-main event fight in UFC history.
Is it the first time that they're doing a 5-round co-main event not on a pay-per-view?
I think they've done it on fight nights before, but never in a women's division that wasn't for a title.
Yeah, Erin's going to pick
Wow.
up as the fight goes on here. Amanda Kibosh kind of showed that she was having a little bit more success as the fight was going on late, but she doesn't have as much of like a disciplined approach. She's a little bit more of like a wild fighter where like Erin, she might have not had the best performance in the Manon fight, but she put up her best effort and didn't like she was outclassed, but not embarrassed. I think it was more just like a dose of reality that she might not be like a true title contender in this class against the highest level, but she's going to be a really tough matchup for Rose Namajunas, who struggled with a wrestler at 115 in Carla Esparza, where Erin Blanchfield's a legit 125er. Like she's got some serious like thickness to her, and when she gets in top, she's got an amazing jiu-jitsu game. It's just, yeah, I mean, let's see here. Let's see what happens. So, Guru, what do you end up on?
I this fight once again, I do kind of I hate being like that, and it's rare that I feel this way on, especially on the main and co-main. But like, I think I still need a little bit of soul searching. I feel like I lean Thug Rose at plus money. Again, I feel like it's almost this. It's almost a similar matchup to the main event, and exactly that. You've got a young wrestler who, if the fight stays on the feet, will get exposed versus a fluid striker who used a lot of lateral movement, but has shown defensive ground game deficiencies at times. So I think the fights are actually very similar now that I really think of it. And I think in this spot, it could be another learning experience for Erin Blanchfield. I'm not sure that the 5 rounds versus Furo was any like. I'm not sure what the learning experience was for her there. Especially if the learning experience wasn't drop the weight class, go down, because I'm not sure what she's gonna do. So I don't know. The physicality of Erin Blanchfield could be a problem here. So I lean Thug Rose at plus money, but I don't necessarily see a need to plant my flag here. Aaron, I feel like you might have something a little more solid here.
Yeah, another tough fight to call, like you said. I just think the price is kind of right here on Blanchfield at minus 130. I think that she's like a true flyweight. Rose is not really a true flyweight in my eyes. And I think that the reason why Blanchfield had such a tough time against Manon Fiore is the range and her incredible ability to control the distance. And Blanchfield just could not get close. She couldn't get in on Manon Fiore. And I think that's going to be something that anybody who fights Manon is going to have a lot of problems with. Like she's really big for the division. She's really long for the division, and she's extremely skilled when it comes to striking. I think that Rose is skilled when it comes to striking as well, but I don't think she has the same kind of physicality as Manon Fiore has. And I think that if Blanchfield gets in on her, that if she can get a takedown, I think she's going to be able to control Rose for entire rounds if she's able to take her down. I don't think that Rose is going to be able to get up very easily with Blanchfield on top. And I also think that Blanchfield's striking isn't as bad as I think a lot of people make it out to be. I think that Blanchfield can actually hang with Rose a little bit more on the feet compared to somebody who's as elite as Manon Fiore is. Not just, again, with striking, but with distance management and her range. Like, I don't think that Rose, even though Rose is fairly long, has those same kind of strengths as Manon Fiore had. In fact, Rose struggled with that against Manon Fiore. So I think that Blanchfield at like whatever minus 125, minus 130 is probably a good enough price where you can take her. But at the same time, Rose is really good. Like, and even on the ground, Rose is still good at threatening submissions. You mentioned the Esparza fight. Like, that was a long time ago. That, like, Rose was so green back with that first Esparza fight. And the second Esparza fight was a staring contest. So I think that Rose is I don't know if I would say a live underdog, but I think that if you like Rose enough in this fight and you see something that I'm not talking about, like, by all means. But I personally think that at this price, Blanchfield is probably the right side.
Yeah, again, with the grappling upside, to your point, the striking might not be as far off. The Furo fight left such a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, so possibly even mine included. So I understand it, but you might be right here. This could be. I'm going to steal TB's thunder here, right? If she gets 3-4 takedowns, I mean, this could be a God's gift type of line.
Yeah. Also, I'm not the one that had the 6 to 7 unit play on Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah, that was really dumb. I don't really understand that.
So, anywho, we're moving on. We've got the Black Beast, Derek Lewis versus Janata D's Nuts Denise. Absolutely electric matchup because Derek Lewis is going to be whipping out these nuts after he potentially knocks out Janata Denise. Guru, can you give us anything on what you got here? D. Lou plus 142 catching your eye?
No. No. Oh wait, D. Lou. Yeah. No. Well, because I mean, plus what number did you say?
D. Lou plus 142.
No. Oh yeah. No.
No. Oh yeah. No.
Well, because again, while I stammer all over myself, Derek Lewis by KO would be his method. It's always his method. That's the way it's going to happen if it happens for him. So why take plus 142 when you could get plus 210? That's my first philosophy. My second philosophy is why not this fight go to disappointment? Let's bet all the overs. Jahanta, if this guy Denise is
Janata, not Pocahontas.
All right. All right. So if D's Nuts is able to hang in there, right? If he can, because he's quite a technical striker. So if he doesn't serve up his chin on a platter, we know Derek Lewis is fine standing there throwing 8 strikes around. So I could see Denise, just kind of working from the outside, being smart enough not to leave himself open. And this fight just goes over while everybody bets fight doesn't go under 1.5, blah, blah, blah. Like, give me over 1.5 at plus money. Maybe I'm fucking crazy.
Interesting. But hey, D-Lou took until round 3 to knock out Nascimento and all the other stuff.
And then look at the Carl Williams fight. It's just all of it. I mean, Derek, like you just said, Derek Lewis took his time versus Nascimento. Like, I think we cast some overs in that fight too. So
can you imagine Derek Lewis starts wrestling also? Would be hilarious.
Same idea. I actually think I remember for that fight, I said, don't take Derek Lewis round 1 knockout. Do the round 2, round 3 grouping. I love that here. Fuck the round 1 knockout. Give me the round 2, round 3 knockout grouping. We can get that at now plus 550. There you go. Why would you take Derek Lewis plus 142 when his win conditions plus 550, in my opinion? Sure, he could get the round 1 knockout, but I think Denise will stay sharp. That's why they're giving him this matchup. You see it time and time again where these 1 or 2 card fighters all of a sudden jump up the roster. They know something and they want to see something. So this undefeated guy's probably not getting knocked out.
Maybe not. But Forrest, appreciate you. You can find us our names at TV Scouting MMA, at Guru Scouting MMA up there. Aaron B, Mr. Aaron Brown's there as well. If you're trying to follow all 3 on the panel. And yeah, we do this every Thursday, 8:00 Eastern. Here or there, things might come up to have to change it, but this is our time now. So hope you continue to join us going forward. Appreciate all your insight and hope you're having a good time, brother. Make sure if you're drinking, smoking, whatever you're doing, do one for us. So Louis Keogh definitely seems likely, and definitely seems like there's. When you said plus 210, I'm tickled. I need a little.
Listen, the only other narrative thought that I have, right, and this will be the last one. The only other narrative thought could be is that again they love Derek Lewis and they're just giving him somebody to knock out, just another body that they don't care about.
I wasn't impressed with the Carl Williams fight. Aaron, what about you? What are you thinking?
If Derek Lewis takes this guy down, Denise is toast. Don't you think? Like Denise has fought Carl Williams for whatever reason. I think somebody in the UFC must have said, dude, if you take this guy down, you're going to cut. And then he didn't take him down and got cut anyways. Because there's just no rational reason for Carl Williams to not take Janata Denise down.
Baffling.
That was one of the most frustrating fights I've watched all year, watching him not take down Janata Denise, a former Glory kickboxer, when it was his absolute best winning conditions. He could have probably taken the guy down and subbed him in the first 2 minutes. Now, Derek Lewis doesn't have those same kind of issues. We know we're getting Derek Lewis getting an exciting fight. I expect Derek to fight, to strike with this guy, close in on the pocket, take the dude down and smash him. And I think Derek Lewis wins this fight. I think this is the best underdog on the card. How many times has Derek Lewis lost to a heavyweight that's not in the top 10, let alone an unranked heavyweight? 0 times. Look it up. I think this could be a cakewalk for Derek Lewis. And Janata Denise, he has a lot of finishes by KO outside of the UFC, but he wasn't able to finish Carl Williams, who we have seen get rocked before whenever he chooses to stand with people, which was 0 times before that last fight. and he still managed to go the distance with this guy.
Yep.
Give me Derek Lewis in this fight.
Yeah,
I say that with conviction.
I'm going with
At
Derek
this
Lewis.
price. Come on, like there's just no reason why he should be an underdog in this fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even understand the matchup, let alone the odds. It's all quite confusing.
Yeah, and I like your idea with the KO prop at like plus 210. I think that makes a lot of sense too. But I don't know, heavyweights and these new gloves. I just get nervous about this kind of stuff.
You're a glove guy too, Aaron? Say it ain't so.
Not really, but like the numbers are still saying that like we're seeing less KOs and TKOs, and we're seeing heavyweights go long lately,
right?
For whatever reason. But I mean, this is Derek Lewis; he's an anomaly, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I still get worried about that kind of stuff. And also, who knows if a submission's on the table? Maybe Derek gets crafty if he's able to take this guy down, because I don't think Denise knows how to defend the submission.
Would be hilarious.
Would be hilarious.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's like plus 2,800 or something, but I don't think it's going to happen.
All right.
I like to kick. I like to kick for coverage and take him as just straight up. He's already an underdog.
You may call that a dart throw, but we call that grandma's couch cushion here. So we dig into grandma's couch cushion. Yeah. She won't. They're not gonna. Nobody's looking for that spare change. Nobody will notice that that's missing. Doesn't even count.
Yeah, plus 2,800. Yeah, you can just do it and then forget about it and pretend that you didn't make one of the weirdest choices ever. But yeah.
Little silver dollar down there.
But MMA is weird. So if he does win by submission, you guys can just give me all the credit and I'll take it.
I love it.
I love it. Talking MMA is weird. Well, we have Caio Bigfoot Machado dropping down to 205, minus 162 favorite against the gorilla Brenson Ribeiro. I mean, my God, this is gonna be a mess, because there's two ways this fight goes. It's like Brenson by meme finish, or Brenson loses by like Rafael Cerquera type of vibes, like just decides to cover up as Machado throws like a 30-punch combo. Actually, there's a third way this fight goes. Machado by sloppy, disgusting decision, Godzilla Sulov style. I think that's what I'm leaning to. The fight goes the distance is plus 158, and I don't know. Ultimately, I'm probably just going to pass on this fight.
Oh, you have to pass, but I mean, I think if you're playing it right, why not take Brenson Ribeiro by am I okay?
Yeah, I said Robert. What's going on?
I'm hyper concerned about my mic sounding now. Okay,
so
if you're taking listen, in this fight, if you have to bet this fight because you're a degen like me, you're taking Brenson Ribeiro dog shot, and you're taking Ribeiro round 1. Dude has 15 wins in his career, 11 round 1 finishes. I don't care that Caio Machado lost 40 pounds. Does that make you somehow better at MMA? He's got a 3-inch reach disadvantage. They're about the same height. So I just think, Brenson Ribeiro is terrible. But yeah, I just don't know what Caio Machado has done to be this big a favorite. Should be, I think at a heavyweight, it should be like maybe close to pick him. I get
it, but he could also just kind of like, he has functional enough jiu-jitsu and wrestling that like Ribeiro is kind of a guard puller and a little bit just like of a flake. So if he's not getting that early knockout and Machado's just kind of staying low volume and safe, or clinching and outside trip and Ribeiro happy to play off his back, like we could just see a terrible fight. But Aaron, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I will say I've seen Caio this week and he looks good for 205. It doesn't look like he's struggling to get there, which is cool to see. But I'll take the over 1.5 at like minus 155. I think this fight more often than not is going to be kind of a back and forth striking fight. And Machado is very good at getting out of danger when he does sense that danger, and just fighting kind of a good technical kickboxing fight. So I'll take the over 1.5 at minus 155. But I don't know. I kind of want to see Caio first at light heavyweight before I would take him at like as a favorite.
Right.
Ribeiro is a natural light heavyweight, and he's kind of a glass cannon. But at the same time, like Caio's not really a big finisher either. So I don't know. This is a very volatile fight that I think that, if I had to take something, I would take that over 1.5 at like minus 155. But overall, I probably would just pass.
It's almost funny because, again, kind of the way that you say it almost, again, I see the over 1.5. It's like, but with Ribeiro being the flake and also having the round 1 upside, it's like, under 1.5 at plus money tickles my interest, which means it's just like a full fucking pass.
Damn. Yeah, I don't need to find out with my money this fight. There's actually a ton of
This
other
is a
spots
Dana
I'm
White
liking.
Contender Series fight. It's like don't
It
kid
is.
yourself just because they've had a UFC fight or two. This is a Dana White Contender Series fight. That's all it is. There's a low level MMA fighters.
And this is not the 50-year-old Lee Main across the octagon from Kyle Machado.
Yo, no, don't talk shit about my boy Lee Main.
What about his cousin Lowe?
He fought him twice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kyle Machado. Fought him
Pretty
twice,
terrible.
Fought a 50-plus-year-old guy twice to get a record to make him to the UFC. I don't know.
and that's why I
But
faded
yes.
him on Dana White Contender Series,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
Yeah, and he looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good on Contender Series.
Kevin
He-
Saflarski
That
looked
dude was a
terrible.
punching bag, man. I think he outlanded him by like 110 significant strikes in that fight. And Dana gave him the contract. He's like, this guy was like a plus 300 underdog and like outstruck the guy by like 100 plus strikes. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, give the guy a contract. And Kyle looked okay in the UFC. But yeah, this is kind of a total pass for me.
Nice. I agree.
Yeah, Kyle's shape did really look good. I was very impressed.
We've got Marc-Andre Barrio, the power bar, versus Dustin, the disappointment Stoltzfus.
That's mean. That's just mean.
Did you have him by sub in that last fight like I did too against freaking what's his name? The guy who just won this past weekend?
I had
Bruno Pereira?
No, I had Bruno money line and Bruno by round 1, round 2 knockout.
I had like Stoltzfus by sub at like plus 800 in that fight, and Stoltzfus took him down like the first minute and then gassed out. I was like, come on, man.
I feel like he'd be less of a disappointment if he didn't get off to like a hot start in like 2/3 of his fights. Like if he just lost immediately or like broke his arm going to post up, like against, or I guess that was Joe Pyfer that did that. I'm sorry. But anywho's with Dustin Stoltzfus, I'm sorry, but with Dustin Stoltzfus, it's just there's not a lot of times where he can put on a full 15-minute performance. And that's what worries me here is that it's literally in his fucking nickname. He's the power bar. That's why they call him
he's got a lot of knockout power.
No, it's due to hit. It's like like the bar in like a video game that shows your stamina. That's what Marc-Andre Barrio is going for here. So ultimately, I think he stuffs the takedowns, and if he doesn't stuff the takedowns early, do you think I'm not going to be on the DraftKings app staring at that live bet number while the guru's standing in a concert alone and very sad that he's not hitting the live bet with me? Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Marc-Andre Barrio minus 105 live in round 1 is my best bet.
Live in round 1, so you think he loses round 1? That's interesting.
Yeah, and then I think like Dustin, as he's primed to do, it's going to come to like mid round 2, round 3, and even if he might not have success early. That's also saying like that he'll have success early. That's not even guaranteed. But if he does, I'll be ready.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I like Barry round 3 decision at plus 140. I think if he somehow gets a finish, I think it happens late. And otherwise, I just think it goes to decision, which majority of his UFC fights have done. So that's what I like. That's where I'm going. I don't think the finish happens early.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
The Texans just fumbled in the red zone versus the Jets. That's crazy.
Yeah, not that crazy. The bookies need the Jets to win.
Let's go. Loving it. Anyways, sorry about that.
I forgot. I'm not even watching, which is unlike.
Well, I'm not watching. I just saw I saw it was like popped up on the Yahoo Sports ticker as I was checking the score.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Aaron, please, without further ado.
Yeah, I might have a little dartski for this one.
Yes.
What do we got?
Barrio round 3 KO at plus 1,000.
Yes.
Talk
Yes.
to me.
And
it's right in my play, baby. Let's fucking go.
He's lost in round 3 on 2 occasions to Mearshart and was it Rodolfo Vieira as well, I think, in the 3rd round. He just runs out of gas as the fight goes on. And Barrio's the opposite. Barrio's a builder. Like, he's a guy that gets better as the fight goes on and hangs in there. Sometimes even starts off a little bit slow, but he'll pick up the pace as the fight goes on and just drown guys. We saw him do that against Julian Marquez. Like, if you can get a Barrio round 2, round 3 prop at like a good number as well, it's probably in like the plus 500 range if I had to guess. Not a bad way to do it either. But Barrio round 3 KO at plus 1,000. Sign me up for that one. I think that might be a little darski that I throw for this fight.
I actually love
and
that.
we also it's important to mention, by the way, there's Dustin Stoltzfus after that last fight that he had against Bruno Ferreira was like eating food through a straw in like June. Like, he was having all kinds of like health episodes, and June isn't that long ago. Like, we're in October, right? Like,
oh my God,
so
that's actually
yeah,
terrible.
Like he had like a terrible, like, got knocked out terribly and had all these different health episodes afterwards. And like, this is like this year, right? Like, we're talking 4 months ago.
Yeah,
So,
what's
4 or
he
5
doing
months
back
ago.
in the octagon after eating that elbow to the face? I mean, he took a beating after eating that
Yeah.
elbow to face. And shout out to
Yeah,
him. He
so-
like got his ass right back up and wanted to fight, even though he was
Mhm.
literally like asleep.
Yeah.
It
So,
wasn't great.
I mean, I think that I just think that if Barrio gets through the first round, whatever turbulence is thrown his way there, he's gonna cruise. And so I like your live bet idea as well, but you also risk, Barrio just looking great right out the shoot and just never getting that number. So
Exactly.
we'll have to see.
To the wire, to the limit, to the wall. He had to.
Oh, there you
like
go.
Kanye,
You're singing
'cause he
Kanye.
broke
Oh,
his
yeah.
jaw. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. He had
that's
a broken
cool, at
jaw.
least.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
wraps that
I've,
with his jaw wired, which is incredible.
Exactly. So I was just making
Pretty
a
awesome.
Skull's Fist, Kanye West. Great
I
song.
like it. You're just a terrible singer, so I was immediately enraged. But then
I mean,
When did, in your opinion, when did Kanye peak? Like, what was his first album like of the decline, in your opinion?
That's easy. The
Yeezus?
Afterlife. What was the one after Life of Pop? No, Yeezus was I guess
Ye was
that's
after Life of Pablo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, it was.
I actually think it was
horrendous.
Life of Pablo. I think Life of Pablo was like the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, I
was
mean,
like
like,
there
one
are
or
ones
two
who
good
love
songs.
Life of
there was a
Pablo.
few good
Okay.
ones on there, but you're right. That was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. But yeah, I mean, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Graduation and 808s and Heartbreak are, I mean, my favorites. For
Yeah,
sure.
I saw him on the Yeezus tour with Kendrick Lamar opening. That was a good show.
Dang, that's a nice
Talk
one.
about Kendrick Lamar opening. I saw Schoolboy Q and Kendrick Lamar open for Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it was it was in the summer before Good Kid, Mad City came out.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, and I love music. We could talk all day. Yeah, Barry
Hey,
at round
yeah.
two. Barry
I
at
got
round
my- I
two,
got
round
my-
three.
I got
KO is
my
plus
son-
400.
I got my son and I tickets to Tyler the Creator
Yes.
this week. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so we're stoked.
Where
Nice.
are you seeing him at the?
In Toronto.
That's fucking awesome.
Sick.
And he's also going to be in Vegas when the UFC might be there. So I might go day of and pick up a
Ooh,
ticket.
Okay,
to-
so
to
I've
see
seen
Tyler.
I've seen Tyler twice. I saw Tyler here at Starland, which is like a 300-person venue.
Wow.
So that was fantastic.
Awesome.
And then I saw him open for Kid Cudi at Penn's Landing.
We're going to have to just do a separate music sidebar at some point. So,
100%.
yeah.
You guys should start a show. I like
Anytime
that.
Aaron wants to hang out, I'll do anything he wants.
I just have all my throwback emo high school.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm big into emo stuff too, man.
That's
we
it,
can
you
talk,
know?
we can talk that way too.
That's
I
it.
love
No, listen, I listen to everything. But that I used to play a little something. I never really was big on the concert scene though. That's just me. I don't like people. Anyways, we're live every Thursday, and I love you people. That's what matters, right? That's why we're here. But no, seriously, appreciate all you guys in the chat. So do the right thing. Throw a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. If you guys are crazy enough to throw a donation, dig into your own grandma's couch cushions. Never hurts, but we're never going to beg for it. So appreciate you guys no matter what. Keep joining us. Best bets, best guess. Always free picks. Here we go. We got Mike Proper Malat versus Officer Trevin Giles.
I have a feeling I know why Just Win Baby is here just on time to see Mike Malott, Trevin Giles breakdown.
Well, I did not do a proper job with the lines on this fight. That's for damn sure.
What the
It's minus
hell are these
265. I don't know. Something happened in my process. I'm shot. Minus 265, Mike Malott. Plus 205, Trevin Giles. Over 1.5, minus 130. I can't even trust myself if that's the actual truth or not. I think I did that, but I didn't. Yeah, that's true, but not the betting lines. I'm sorry. Anyways, Mike Malott, I don't know. I really don't think that. I really just don't think that I want to trust anybody with my money in this fight. They're both prone to disappointment. Malott's probably the more dangerous guy, but Giles has enough skills and he's faced enough good competition where he could put on a performance, but he could also just be asleep on the canvas within 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So I'm not willing to find out with my money. This will be a pass spot for me because I also don't want to, parlay Mike Malott here it's minus 265, not plus 105. I don't want to get into a finished prop here with all the overs we've been seeing, but if there was any way Mike Malott was going to cover his line, it would be finishing Trevin Giles like a few other people have, in recent and in distant memory. So, Guru, do you have a more definitive thought or play here?
Listen, I do like Mike Malott to get the finish. I think that this is a fairly decent redemption shot for him. At the same time, it could also be a reoccurring deja vu nightmare. Trevin Giles, doesn't necessarily have shit cardio. So I expect him to have the cardio advantage over Mike Malott. I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to give Mike Malott the benefit of the doubt, fighting a veteran like Neil Magny and just being at home and, a young, fairly young guy, 32. I don't know. And Trevin Giles has taken a ton of damage throughout. I thought he was way older than 32. Wow. So, yeah, I think Mike Malott probably gets it done. But, again, just win babies, mush of the week, Mike Malott. So, I wouldn't necessarily be shocked if Mike Malott goes through a deja vu sequence, but I'm going to go Mike Malott and finish. And you know what? I'm going to go with under 1.5 too. I think he gets it done quickly. If he gets it done, he'll need to get it done early. Aaron, any different? What do you got here?
I'm on the same page. This is a soft landing for Mike Malott, and I think Mike Malott inside the distance at minus 125 is kind of a giddy year. Honestly, you look at this is the welterweight career of Trevin Giles. So he gets knocked out by Michael Morales, who's a good prospect, ranked guy now at welterweight. His wins are against Louis Cochet or Koski. It's actually pronounced Cochet. He told me that's how it's pronounced. So I'm going to use the proper pronunciation. And Preston Parsons, those are two kind of cupcake opponents for this division. And then gets subbed by Gabriel Bonfim, who we've come to find out isn't quite as good as I think everybody thought he was going to be. And then he gets starched by Carlos Prates, who I think is the real deal also. Yeah. So all of his 3 losses at welterweight have been by stoppage. And Mike Malott is a very potent finisher, great athlete. I think that this is, again, kind of a tailor-made fight for Mike Malott to bounce back. And as long as he, having spoken to Mike this week and interviewed him, it seems like he had to do a lot of real soul searching and hard work to figure out, what went wrong in that last fight. And it seems like he was very hyper analytical and self-critical, even though it pained him to do that, because he said that everything was perfect going into that fight. He didn't make any excuses, to just try to figure out what went wrong and how he can avoid that same thing from happening again. And I think we're going to see a kind of renewed Mike Malott in this fight. So give me a Mike Malott inside the distance at minus 125.
I actually think I texted TB exactly that earlier in the week. And I was like, if you're giving this dude a middleweight with any sort of name notoriety that's basically not right off the Dana White Contender Series truck, this is the softest landing that you can give him. A guy that's not going to knock him out or push him too hard in any sort of way. And honestly, I would not be surprised if you saw Trevin Giles' name on the UFC roster watch on Tuesday. Because it's probably one of the last fights on his contract. So give me Mike Malott and the finish. Fuck it, right? All in, baby.
Clear the way.
Redemption time.
Redemption song.
Okay, Bob.
All right, we've got Ayman Ariel Vinoz Zahabi versus
friend of the show.
Yep, friend of the show versus Pedro Munoz, and we had this conversation last time. He went from the young Punisher.
He lost his nickname.
He's the Punished. No, he's the Punished.
No, he was just going to be the Punisher. We didn't say the Punished. That's mean.
No,
you're probably right that.
Well, he's been punished now.
Well, if he punishes us, I'm going to be very upset because we got dog money here on Ayman Zahabi.
We did. This is the benefit of us looking ahead last Saturday. We're like, well, who are guys that could potentially win? I think the striking defense of Zahabi is what gives him the chance here. He's cerebral. He should be fighting the right game plan. And Munoz just
wait. Can I jump in really quick because I already have a question for that.
Please.
The striking defense is Zahabi, right? And that is a huge. That's his. I believe he has the best striking defense in the entire UFC.
Okay.
Pedro Munoz is a calf kick merchant, the most accurate strike of all strikes you can throw.
Yes, but my counter to that
Yes,
is that the calf kicks actually leave you open to be countered.
Whoa.
Especially a guy like Munoz that is going to be giving up a bit of height and reach in this matchup. So let's see exactly. It's 2 inches of height, 4 inches of reach. Zahabi is a technical guy in that he's only going to throw what's necessary to land one more strike than you do. So like once his one punch and then you're starting to like get his timing, then he'll start throwing a few punches, like that's why his defense is so good, is that he layers in his approach throughout the fight based on what you're giving him. If you're giving him multiple spinning back elbows up against the cage, then he might be knocked out 7 years ago. But this isn't Ricardo Ramos here. Pedro Munoz hasn't really punished anybody in a while, and I think in this matchup, he's not going to get into a dumb, like dick swinging match in the pocket that he might have liked in the past. And when he goes to calf kicks, Zahabi should have a nice jab or a counter coming right over the middle. And with the reach advantage, he should be the one landing with a bit more sting on his punches. Munoz, I can't imagine him having the wrestling success he would need. Like, that's kind of what he did. It was calf kicking and the threat of the wrestling versus one Gutierrez, right? So I don't know. I think it's more just if you lost the decision to Kyler Phillips in the UFC, I mean, Aben Zahabi's going to win.
It's a bad look now. That's a bad look.
That's not good, man. You couldn't put enough pressure and pace on the guy to make him will.
I was just still thinking about the way that we even got in touch with Aben Zahabi because I had tweeted something about Javid Bashrat or whatever. And then after the fight, he had come back and he had commented on it. And we DM'd and I mean, he's just the nicest fucking guy. So, yeah, honestly, I might have to reach out to him again after this fight, win or lose, and have him come talk about it because that's exactly what we did. We just got to talk to him about the Javid Bashrat win and just kind of all that. And it was just a fantastic interview. What a nice guy. So, yeah, another chance to play him at dog money. We took it. Had to do that. So, Amen Zahabi's going to have the fight IQ advantage here as well. Pedro Munoz has won 2 fights in the last 4 years. I can't get behind that at all. He's the punished, not taking them. So, Aaron, what do you got here? I have a feeling I know, but.
Well, I mean, Eamon is a colleague of mine at Sportsnet, so, there might be a little bit of bias here. But that said, I love Pedro Munoz, one of the sweetest guys in the UFC, also such a super nice guy. I honestly just believe this is a really close fight, and I would take the split plus 225. I think that this is going to be a very, very, very closely contested 3-round fight that is going to be very, very close. So I don't really feel comfortable picking a side, honestly. But I think a split decision is actually a very strong possibility in this fight because both these guys have very, very sharp skills wherever the fight goes. And I think that if it's contested on the feet for 3 rounds, which I think it will be, I think that the thing that gives Eamon a bit of an advantage is he tends to throw more head strikes, whereas, like you said with Pedro, he tends to throw more like lower body strikes. And the judges seem to favor strikes to the head more for whatever reason. I think it's because maybe you're seeing more visible damage. But again, I just personally think it's a really close fight. I would take a split decision here, plus 225. Or if you can find an even better price on that, I would go ahead because I think this fight goes to the scorecards and that it's anyone's fight to win.
Interesting. Yeah, I do like the split decision look. It's just the price. Typically, you can get like 300 to 400 for that, and they know exactly what's going on.
I'm only seeing it at one place.
I only see it on. I only
just
maybe Bet River. Maybe Bet Rivers will have it for us, but the only place I know of
usually has it too.
MGM, maybe that's a good one to check. DraftKings is usually one we use for it. I put a literal $5 on split decision for Moreno Albazi at plus 330 for anybody interested.
Yeah, that's a good price too. Yeah,
because one split decision in Albazi, his last fight, 2 in a row for Moreno. I think he makes it 3 in a row.
Wow. All righty. We're moving on. We've got Ariane, the Queen de Silva. Man, it's just a change on multiple levels. She's no longer the Queen of Violence. She's no longer Lipsky. There's a lot of things going on in her world. And then we've got DJ Jazzy, Jasmine Jazz Devicius.
So there we go. Fresh Prince.
Exactly. I got you.
I love it.
Yes. Very good, right? This has been her nickname the last 3 times running. Do you remember that?
I love it. That's why you stick to wherever I don't bust your balls too much.
Exactly. And if not, we go back to the drawing board. This is how we do it at Chronic Combat.
This is how we do it.
All right. So the Queen plus 190. DJ Jazzy, as we got DJ Guru in the background, minus 230. Man, I really just don't want to get involved on the money line because I don't think there's a way that DJ Jazzy's getting a finish here. But I do think there's a way that she gets some extended top control time or some clinch time. But if this fight takes place from distance, oh my God, her striking defense is terrible. And this isn't someone making their short notice debut up a weight class where she can kind of like bully them and set the pace and just like eat their strikes, come forward and you know, have zero punishment. Like if you're walking forward into De Silva's kicks and punches, like legs, body, head, it's all of it. And she's a great striker. So DJ Jazzy, you got to be on the front foot. You got to be getting into the clinch. You got to fight. You got to go for the takedown. Ultimately, I could see it, right? I'll pick her. She's minus 110 by decision. That's probably the most likely thing that happens. But
no, we can get plus 105, my brother.
Oh, my brother, where's that?
You know, FanDuel, my brother.
Yeah, of course, fair enough. They just don't have props listed for the next 5 fights, so I had to go to DraftKings.
I just think that Ariana De Silva has just, especially after losing her last fight. I mean, Karina Silva is solid, but I don't know. I just think that there's a major problem when you're banking on somebody defending multiple takedowns over multiple rounds. It's just a really, really tough thing. That's why I've always felt like wrestling is the best base for MMA, and I feel like many people probably agree with that because it's just really, really hard to stop somebody from, because you just need one sometimes. And this could be absolutely a fight where she just needs one. I think Jasmine will be relentless for the takedown. She's never been finished, right? Yeah, she's never been finished in her career. She's tough as nails. She's shown cardio. I really like Jazzy here. Jazzy by decision plus 105. I mean, Ariane Lipski has been finished 4 times. So, dude, you know what? You ready? I hope I'm not stealing a dart throw, but we're going for Grandma's couch cushion. Yeah, I just thought of it right now. Ariane Lipski has been KO'd 4 times. Mm-hmm. Jasmine by KO is plus 1,100. Why wouldn't she's a flake? Why
it's
wouldn't
plus
she possibly
750 on DraftKings? I'll touch that on FanDuel. Let's go.
Yeah, you will. So I'll take the KO sprinkle. And what's the fucking finish in general? Finish in general is
like
plus
350 or something.
350, 450. Yeah, we'll find something.
Yeah, plus
Jets touchdown. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, man. So I love Jazzy here.
Damn.
She's gonna get it done. De Silva's a fucking turtle off her back, so it could be problematic. Give me Jazzy. And I guess I stole your thunder there.
Yeah, that's Aaron. My dart. I wrote it. I sent my article into Sportsnet right before we got started here. And my
wow.
was
Guru hacked the mainframe. Guru hacked the mainframe.
Because here's the thing with Jazz. Like, Jazz does have good power and, like, is good with her striking. Like, she's had – in the regionals, she has 2 KO TKO wins. One of them was vicious. The first time I ever saw her fight, I was there in person. It was at BTC, and she just starched this chick. And like you said, Lipski's been finished 4 times all by KO or TKO, and I think if Jazz takes her down, she could smash her. And Lipski's also not somebody who does well when she gets pressured, and Jasmine loves to apply the pressure. So give me Jasmine plus 750 by KO or TKO.
Nice. I love it. The boys are aligning. This has been a real bonding.
1,100 boys. 1,100.
Yeah. All right,
need that.
1,100. Hey, that's an even better price. All right,
we need that.
You're doing 10. Get out of here.
10. All right, I'll put a 5-piece.
Yeah, do a 5-piece. We talked about the spaghetti needs to be a little more limited from an overall.
You're right. I just see $100 and I get excited.
I know. So here's what happens. Let me give you guys a breakdown here. We dig into Grandma's couch cushions, but it's like, how much spaghetti are you really trying to throw at the wall and see what sticks? Like, you got to be at least a little bit selective.
You're right.
And
You're right.
And if you're sizing out your units to play money lines a certain way, you have to have your spaghetti and your grandma's couch cushions. Like it needs to be scaled down properly. So yeah, plus 1,100. Oh my God, if I bet $10, I'll win 100. But it's like, yeah, but if you're betting $20 on an underdog shot, but you're betting $10 on like a plus 1,100 spaghetti, like that's not going to work for you in the long
you're
run.
right. You're right. And if you find $10 between your grandma's couch cushions, she might be working for the mafia. So that's a lot. That's a lot of money to find between couch cushions.
That's what I'm saying. I appreciate you guys.
I changed it to 5. You're right.
Today. Rem Dog. Yeah, I mean maybe.
No,
I get it.
She couldn't get it. Still, wait. Freeze. Go rewatch that fight. They wouldn't stop it for no reason.
The ref should have stopped that fight.
Yeah,
the ref
that was a bad
She was getting.
They should have stopped it like 5 separate times. That was ridiculous.
It's funny. I was so I've got a story about that fight.
Yes,
please. For a second. So we just got the rights at Sportsnet to the UFC this year. So 2 of the radio hosts that I was on their show or whatever, and they ended up sitting on Media Row, and the first fight they ever watched in person was that fight. Was like, and I said like hi to them before the fight, and then after the fight was over, I walked up to them. I was like, "What did you think of that?" And they were like white as ghosts, just being like, "Wow!" Like they just watched a girl get like the absolute tar beat out of her for 3 rounds, absorbing like 200 significant strikes. One of the radio hosts is female also. She used to play hockey, so she's not like somebody who's like I think averse to that kind of thing. But like they were both like, "Wow, that was something."
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that was really brutal. That was a bad beat. That's crazy. So I mean, that should have been finished 6 different times. To your point,
oh,
thank
for
you.
Sure.
I actually appreciate Rem Dog for mentioning it because we did.
And
not
I had a
talk
dart
about
on that fight on Jazz by KO, and it didn't obviously did not come through.
Oh my God!
Was
Who
like
was the
plus
ref?
800
Does
or
anybody
something.
remember? It's hilarious.
Good question. Oh, actually, it was a local guy. It was
that's what I'm saying. Was
Lucas,
it?
What was the guy's name? Lucas Roca.
I don't want to see Lucas Roca this time around.
Yeah.
That would make me very sad.
Yeah,
he's an Ontario judge, so I think you're good. He's not going to be. I don't think he refs in Edmonton.
He better never ref again after that.
Yeah. All right, we've got Charles Jordan versus Victor La Mangosta Henry. I think that's like the a mongoose is the translation there. He does kind of fight like a mongoose. He's kind of crazy, high volume, darting around everywhere, slipping and sliding. But I don't know, Jordan, he's coming down in weight, going down to 135 for the first time. And I don't know, he seems to be doing it well. Doesn't look to be having any like real issue getting down to the 135 from what I've seen online. I mean, we'll verify that on the scales. But I mean, he should be the way more impactful striker here. I think Henry's like great on paper when you start looking like, oh my God, this guy throws a lot of volume. He's got good accuracy. He's got solid defense. Like he can land a takedown. But none of it's like damaging. None of it's really, it's just like overload.
He has no killer instinct.
Right. And like a guy like Raoni Barcelos, that's just way too much for him to compute at this juncture. Like that, his old ways can't quite catch up to the, even though Victor Henry's not the youngest guy, but it was just like way too much information for him to try to download in that type of fight. He's a more technical, counter, whatever. And Victor is just like crazy output at a nonstop pace. And that leaves opening for counters. And that's where Charles Jordan comes in. I think we see powerful counters landing more impactfully with a crowd that's going to be on his side, quite frankly. I think Jordan should come out here. I don't think he's necessarily getting the finish. So, but we got a good line, right, Guru? What do we do?
We got Pick'em, right? Minus 110. No plus money.
No plus money, but
we got Pick'em, which I don't believe is available anywhere. Pick'em no vig minus 110, right? Nope. I don't think that's available. So
Blake Grace.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, Blake is a great referee. Blake actually taught the referee course that I took.
Nice.
The Association of Boxing Commissions annual conference.
I kind of want to do one of those just for fun.
If they're ever in New York, I'll let you know. I mean, the one that I went to was Niagara Falls. You probably could have made the drive.
I would have to hang out with you. We were supposed to grab a drink and Prudential. You were busy though. I let you do your thing.
Hang
But,
tight. The Jets have jetsed harder than anybody ever in life. They pulled a Deshaun Jackson and dropped the ball before the end zone.
yeah, no, wait, yeah, they did. They
Yeah,
didn't
it's a
count the touchdown.
yeah. No, touchback off of a fumble.
Oh wow.
Pulled the Deshaun Jackson.
Oh my
No
God.
score.
I didn't
Texans
even
ball. It's
notice that there
hilarious.
was no score.
Hilarious.
Jets gonna
That's
Jets.
That's
That's it.
so bad.
That's actually terrible. It's amazing.
I would be so mad if I was a Jets fan. I'm a Giants fan, but that's terrible.
Also, sad life.
Yeah, I like Jourdain here. I think the cut to 135 was the absolute right move. He's a young guy. And he's fairly skinny. Like he should be able to, if he can do it, he should be able to do it with no problem. So I like Air Jourdain. I do think that the fight goes the distance as well. But yeah, I don't see how Victor Henry's style, he kind of prides himself on sometimes being like the bigger guy or just kind of working from the outside. And I think Jourdain's going to be better at that and bigger. So give me Jourdain.
Aaron?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you guys. I think Jourdain is probably the side here. And I spoke to him this week. He said that he went to the UFCPI and they said like you're one of the smallest featherweights on the roster in terms of your his build. And they said like you just be as a bantamweight, you would just be like it's your optimal weight class. You probably should have always been fighting at bantamweight. And they said if you want to grow to be like the size of like a big featherweight, you're gonna need like a year off to just basically bulk up to be like a true featherweight and be like on par with a lot of the benchmarks we're seeing. He was like, well, I'm 28. I'm not like taking a year off. So he moved down to bantamweight. He's looked good so far this week. Like, I mean, it's going to be a tough cut for him. I don't believe he's ever cut the bantamweight, at least not since like his days on the regional scene. He was a 2-division champion at TKO at 45 and 55, not 35. So I'm interested to see how he looks on the scale and how he responds at 35. But if Victor Henry doesn't use any sort of wrestling, which he hasn't so far in the UFC, he hasn't landed a single takedown, and he stands on the feet and he's going to be throwing all kinds of volume, like you guys said, that's like kind of a Charles Jourdain delight. Like that's what he wants. And Charles has been going to Bazooka Kickboxing with Joe Valtellini, one of the like premier kickboxers really in North American history, once a week, and learning striking from him. And it seems like he's got a lot of different tools that he's adding to his striking arsenal going into this fight.
Very cool. I love to see somebody like Jourdain, not just continuing to improve his craft, right? I mean, at this age, that's exactly what you should be doing. And I do love to see that. And he's an exciting fighter. So he definitely should get his career back on track here with some wins and be at this weight class long term. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I just remember the Sean Woodson fight, and it's just like, what the fuck was the game plan here? Like, the dude is huge, and you're trying to wrestle, and I just didn't understand it at all. So yeah, definitely the wrong weight class. And I think Aaron Rodgers just threw a pick. So he's so bad.
Oh yeah. All right.
Oh, it's a pick six. It's a pick six. That's even worse.
Oh, even worse. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like Weird Al Yankovic, even worse.
Oh my God, it wasn't his fault. The dude catches it and it plops out of his hand into. Oh no, that's gonna be an incomplete. He didn't catch that ball. He didn't make a football move. All right, we're talking too much football. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, because we've got Alexander King Kong Romanov versus Rodrigo the Rhino.
Look at those gibblers.
Oh man, those are some. Could we see a mother's milk submission this week?
Absolutely could. Either one of them are alive for a mother's milk. Look at those boys.
It's King Kong versus the Rhino, Rodrigo Nascimento, and these guys are. This is like you could build like one of those fake little cities around them, and they're like smashing around like those crazy movies, King Kong and Godzilla and the Rhino and all that. But anyways, we've got Alexander Romanov. Going through the Instagram, this guy, he's got some good hype videos this camp. Like, he looks like he's in pretty good shape. Aaron, what are you seeing in the field out here? What's he looking like?
I saw him in person, and he didn't look that big to me for some reason. I don't know. But I also saw Josh Barnett, and he didn't look that big either. And Josh Barnett, in my mind, is like a giant monster, like Godzilla. So seeing like him in person for the first time, and he's just like a regular-sized guy. I'm not a regular-sized guy. He's a big guy. But, I mean, seeing him in person, I'm like, I just expected him to be like 9 feet tall and be like Godzilla, roaring, blowing, breathing fire through the city.
Right.
And Romanov, he's a heavyweight, he's a big dude, but like I saw Kyle Machado, and Kyle Machado's like 6'4", like he's tall. right? Like he's like Romanov's not that tall either. So, but that being said, I like Romanov in this fight. I think Romanov at a pick'em, like you're getting a guy who's just fought better competition, and he did lose that fight to Tybura and looked terrible in that fight on the scales. So I think we'll see how he looks on the scales. But at the same time, I just think that like overall, he's a better fighter than Nascimento. Nascimento, I think if he gets top control, is really good. I don't think he's going to get top control against Romanov. I think Nascimento will have a small advantage on the feet, but I think Romanov's just going to go take down, rinse, repeat, smother. Like he just has the way better winning conditions in this situation. So to get him at even money, I think it was actually an underdog yesterday. But that's the side that I'm on.
Wouldn't you know it?
He's the way more physical fighter. I completely agree with your assessment there. He's way more physical. He has a specific path, whereas Nascimento is just kind of like a little bit of everything, and but a master of nothing. So it's a major problem. I don't think he's got good takedown defense, and I think he's a turtle off his back. So Romanov is gonna continue to, if he needs multiple takedowns, he'll get them. But I don't even know if he'll need more than one. I feel like Nascimento is also a flake. So. Yeah, we wouldn't you know it, TB? Well, I'll let you take the thunder this time.
2 units, Alexander Romanov, plus 100. Get in while you... Oh, you can't anymore. I'm sorry.
Jeez, you get minus 105 at some spots.
No, listen, I think it'll be a fun time. And if you're looking for Grandma's Couch, if you're looking for a dart throw, round 1 knockout, Alexander Romanov. Sprinkle it on.
I guess to Forrest Daniels' point, what happens if Romanov doesn't finish him round 1? Is he dead?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be looking for the live bet button at that juncture. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, well, does Nascimento a gas tank guy anyways? I mean,
he didn't look great in 3 rounds versus
Romanov could fall into a takedown on him in the 2nd or 3rd round.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Romanov. It's going to be fun. We've got Sergey the Kid City versus Garrett.
That's your nickname you gave him?
Yeah.
That's your band. That's the worst. What
his
is
nickname
that?
His nickname is obviously Garfield.
Garfield?
Oh, Garfield. Nice.
Garfield.
I was thinking like he's an arm field. He's a leg forest. He's a head
I can't
leg.
even read that because StreamYard's in the way. What does that say?
Yeah. It's leg forest. Because he's an arm field. Arm field, leg forest.
What?
What's his head?
What the hell
in the ocean?
Are you smoking?
I don't know. Something good. You tell me.
It wasn't anything I gave you. That.
All right. Well, anyway, Sid the Kid, Sergey City, and I also had Garrett Greener Pastures Armfield. That was my other thought.
It should be Surrey Good Kid Mad City.
Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna start reaching out to Aaron to work.
Does he already have a nickname? I might have to pitch.
No, he doesn't. Give it to him. I like that. Good Kid, Mad City. Wow.
Yeah.
Aaron, we're gonna be in the DMs working on these nicknames weekly.
All right.
This
cool.
is gonna be good. And then you and Guru will plan the concerts you're going to.
Yeah, Rodrigo Nasty Mentos.
Oh, there you go.
Halloween, no less.
Wow, look at this. Yeah, nobody wants those Nasty Mentos on Halloween.
Exactly.
Nobody wants your shitty fucking nicknames on Halloween or any other day. Leg Forest? Forest? That's gibberish.
Yeah. Like Wake Forest, but different.
No.
Yeah, like Arm Field, Leg Forest. I knew this one would get you mad, so I left it.
I'm so mad right now.
Yeah, I know. It worked. I was just trying to trigger the Guru here. So I'm glad you guys got entertained out of it. Anyways, I don't trust anyone in this fight. City should be like the better striker, the more technical kickboxer, and like more explosive athlete, but Armfield should have a wrestling advantage. His boxing could be better if City's just not as developed as we project. And quite frankly, like I picked against him the first time when he gets like the fluky knockout on Contenders. And then we're like, oh, let's switch the pick to City this time. And then, so I don't know. I just don't have a good read, so I'm going to pass.
He beats Tavares the first time and then he gets robbed the second time, right? Yeah, it's a split decision robbery. That was ridiculous. He clearly wins that fight. So I thought that was really bad. Yeah, I kind of lean this fight going the distance, which I feel like, do we even have props for? Oh, how'd you find that? Oh, DraftKings. 188, exactly. It's chalked up. So I'm good on that. City by decision, but full pass. I'm not really interested. Kind of want to see more of these guys. Garrett Armfield disappoints as a sizable favorite. Last fight in a back and forth fight with Brady Haystand. I feel like City could have the better cardio here as well in this fight, and that could be a problem for Armfield. Not sure.
Armfield like Forrest by decision.
Forrest, don't you fucking encourage him.
It's his name. Forrest is his name. Come on. This is shout out to Forrest.
Well,
Aaron, what do you got?
I like him.
Split plus 300 or whatever
Let's
you can get. This is
go.
gonna be a close. It's gonna be a close fight. I think that City is gonna give Armfield some problems with his range. Like he's pretty long and rangy for the division. But I think Garrett also has a bit of a grappling advantage, even though he was taken down 10 times in his last 2 fights. I still think that Garrett, he has something of a wrestling background. He's going to probably try to mix it up a little bit. But this is going to be honestly, I think this is like a dark horse for fight of the night. Like this is going to be basically a back and forth striking war, I think. So give me a split decision in this one.
I need a book that lets us bet which fight's going to be fight of the night. DraftKings, I feel like, used to do it for like
I know they used to offer that, and I think
for like a hot minute, and then they took it away.
Yeah,
I would love this. I think you're right, because I think you're right. I think it's going to be an all-action affair, and I think it could be exciting in that respect.
Yeah, it will be a fun fight, and I just don't have a clear read, so I'll pass. It'll be fun. All right, we've got. Wait, is it going? Is it not? Oh, there it was. Sorry. Things froze a little bit. We've got the monster, Chad Anheliger versus the Renegade, Cody Gibson. Renegade plus 164 on the Anheliger side, minus 198 for the amazing song by Eminem and
Jay-Z. I was about to say, was that an Eminem and Jay-Z shout out? I'm pretty sure
it was. It was.
That's a great song.
Great song. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time or place.
Yes.
Plus minus 198 for Cody Gibson. It feels appropriate. He's got a really solid height and reach advantage, and he's probably the better grappler, and he can probably land more volume. Chad is like underwhelming in a survivalist, and he probably has a doomsday shelter. What do you got, Guru?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that Chad won his last fight against Gregoriou. I lost a ton of money betting Gregoriou for no reason. Okay, great. He showed he was able to go 5 rounds on the regional circuit. The dude's a complete fraud. The UFC was unbelievably disappointed with him, got rid of him after 2 fights. So, yeah, I don't care that Chad beat him to a decision. It means absolutely nothing to me. Cody Gibson has a 7-inch reach advantage. There's the same age, but he's also 4 inches taller. I like Cody's game a lot better. He beat Brian Kelleher in his last fight. That was great. Showed him the door. I think he could be showing Chad the door as well. I think they like Cody. I think they think he's exciting and actually willing to scrap, which is I think why they gave him the contract off the loss of Tough. And now they're giving him, I think, to me, favorable matchups. I mean, you could be giving him shit matchups if you wanted to, but this is a very winnable fight. So I'll take Cody Gibson in a parlay here.
Cody. Aaron?
I did say Cody, right?
Yeah. Cody Gibson's a huge dude for this division. Like I saw him walking around. I'm shocked that this guy can make 135 pounds, especially at his age. I actually think fight ends inside the distance at plus 170 is worth a look. I think that both guys have decent winning conditions. Like I think that sub is on the table for Chad. Like I think that could be a possible outcome. And I also think that Cody could finish him with a sub or even strikes. Bantamweight and these guys are both pretty durable. Like it's kind of a weird pick, but for some reason I just see a finish in this fight. I don't know why. But I don't really have a strong lean on this fight either way, to be honest. I think that the line is a little bit too much for Gibson because Helliger's been kind of a chronic overachiever since no pun intended with the show name, but kind of a chronic overachiever since getting on Contender Series. He's really delivered the goods when he's in these fights. So it's it's hard to pick against the guy for that reason. Like he just continues to look good in his fights, even though. I follow the regional scene pretty closely, and Chad isn't somebody that really stood out from the Canadian regional scene. He's been around for a while, got the opportunity in Contender Series, and really seized the day. And I think he's really looked good in his different outings for the UFC. He's always he's a guy that will fight for your money. So, it's kind of a pass for me for that reason.
That's quite interesting. We love a fade the narrative perspective. Cody Gibson by finish plus 225. And Helliger somehow finds a finish plus 600.
Yeah.
Lots of value there. So I don't mind that.
We made a mistake. There was
You
a
made a
double
huge
click
mistake.
somewhere. There was a double click somewhere.
Wondering where
I
this fight went.
apologize. I apologize. I was like, this sometimes the internet lags. You don't know if you hit it, and here we go. So Jack Tank Shore plus 205. Yusuf the Moroccan Devil Zalal at minus 250. Oh boy, we've got a matchup here. I mean, on paper, it's like, oh man, is Jack Shore going to be like a good underdog here? But giving up height, giving up reach, he's not the younger guy. I don't think he's the better athlete. I don't think he's going to land with more volume. He has the worst defense. We've seen him get controlled on the mat before. It's got to be Zalal. And it's probably by decision, but at the same time, Shore's been finished a couple times, so I'm not too sure. Instead, Guru, what did we do?
We parlayed Yusuf Zalal and Cody Gibson. That's our greasy parlay. I feel pretty safe with Zalal. I think he's the better striker, and I think he'll actually be the more active grappler. I trust his submission game, and I think they're kind of done with Jack Shore. He's had a few not so lovely performances his last two. I mean, getting knocked out by Ricky Simone has aged like milk. I mean, that's a really bad loss.
He got subbed by Ricky Simone.
Oh shit, you're right. But he got hurt though, right on the feet and then subbed.
Something like that.
I think he got hurt. He got rocked on the feet from my memory. I'll have to double check. But
and the Brito KO was like a weird one. It was like an injury.
That was even weirder. I bet the Brito KO and he gets him, and I didn't watch the fight live. I guess I was probably at a concert or doing something else. And he got a leg kick TK, like the fucking cut on the shin that probably
he had that weird cut, yeah.
It's a cut on Arena Aldana's brain is about to splatter all over the fucking canvas, but they stopped that fight for a leg cut. What are we doing? Very bizarre. I think that's maybe one of my biggest problems with MMA just as a whole is just like the discrepancy between
weird inconsistencies. Yeah.
Thank you. That's even better. They said weird inconsistencies. Absolutely. But yeah, I think Yusuf Zalal gets it done here. He's 2 inches taller and has an inch reach. Jack Shore's wins have been against his best wins at like Tamir Valiev, who's not in the UFC, and they have not asked him to come back. Amir Khani, Shalinian, Hunter Azure. I mean, these it's just not. There's nothing there. So he's still trained by his dad. He's a big fish in a small pond. I just don't like it. I think Yusuf Zalal gets it done. Aaron, please take us away.
Man. This feels very trappy to me. This fight.
I thought so too for a little while.
And like it's creeping up to like almost the plus 300 range for Jack Shore in some spots. I don't know, man. Like it's just a pass for me. Like I think Yusuf should win this fight. Like he should win this fight, right? I mean, he should win this fight. He should win this fight. He should maybe get a submission or the KO prop for Zalal was something I was looking at because it was like plus 500 or something along those lines. But it's not like Jack Shore's last knockout wasn't him like hitting the canvas. It was that weird cut. So I don't know. Like Jack Shore was considered one of the top UK prospects for a long time, and now like suddenly, he's just moving up to featherweight for this. This is his second featherweight fight, I think, or third featherweight fight.
Now third, right?
Third featherweight fight. I don't know, man. This is a pass for me, to be honest. Yeah, at this price, I feel priced out. I feel like it's it feels like really like enticing to take Jack Shore at plus 300, but I don't think he's going to win the fight, right? Like, so it's one of those weird ones.
I think you're exactly right. It's exactly why we kind of faded him with Brito. Is like he'd fought Amir Khani. It's like, okay, what happens if he faces any level of adversity at this new weight class?
But he was still game in that fight against Brito. Like he didn't want him to end the fight.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. Like the fight, the striking numbers were close in that fight. It was 30-24 when the fight ended. you know,
To
he
your
was hanging
point, I
with him
don't
on the feet.
necessarily expect a finish from Zalal, so you shouldn't necessarily be playing minus 250. When you look at Zalal's losses at the UFC level, it's kind of interesting, right? He lost to Ilya Taporia in his first UFC loss. That's totally fine, right? The Sung Woo Choi loss is by far the most glaring one that I see. He just throws no strikes, just tries to get his wrestling going. The Sean Woodson fight, Sean Woodson's huge, and that's a very close fight. And same thing with Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear is huge and a fantastic grappler. And
another thing to consider also is Zalal trains at Factory X, and a lot of people have left Factory X recently.
do you have the scoop at what happened there? What happened?
I don't have like the inside scoop on it at all. Like I don't know exactly why. I don't really want to speak out of turn from what I've heard.
Sure.
I've heard one side of the story and not the other side, so I don't really want to speak on that. But
I appreciate that.
a lot of the fighters in that gym have left, and a lot of the fighters in those weight classes. Like I think David Onama's still there, so he, you know, at least Zalal will have him as a training partner, and Onama's like a pretty high level guy. You know, in terms of the guys that you can train with at that weight class. But like, you know, Alexander Hernandez has left, Roy Val's left. A good number of that gym have left the gym, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that plays into anything or whatever. Is there a number on Jack Shore plus 3.5 that you can get? Can you get that at like plus 150, plus 175? That might be a way to look at it.
Minus 125 on plus 3.5 for Jack Shore.
Yeah, even that.
I gotta be honest.
enticing.
I hate those props so much because you can get bailed out and you can be right, and like the judges, I just don't feel like are watching the fights. It's like you have no like you could.
But that's why the plus 3.5s are good to have. Right?
Right,
like,
right.
The judge puts in like a baffling scorecard, and it's like 30-27, 29-28, and then like 29-28, sure, and then like you're good, right? Like
right. I could also just feel like it could be a clear you won a round and they just don't give it to you.
Yeah, fair enough.
I hate that.
Something weird about this fight. That's all. That's all I'm saying. There's something
You're
weird about this
100%
fight,
right about that.
and I don't
Aaron.
know why. I don't know what it is, and I could be way off, but something weird about it.
I don't think that you're way off. Because again, if at over minus 200, I don't necessarily expect to finish. So danger in my mind.
All right. This is it. We made it. Yep. We've got Jamie Lynn, the original Sin Horth, versus Ivana Seymour Petrovic. Ivana Seymour.
What do you want to see more of?
Of her fighting better in the UFC. Ivana Seymour.
The original Sin. What did she do wrong? Is that we played her and she didn't go for grappling earlier for no reason? What was that? I think it was a lack of experience. It was so upsetting.
Yeah,
I had What'd you say, Aaron?
What you mean in the Liang Na fight? Did you like have her winning in round 1 or something?
No, I had the Horth fight. I had her beating Hardy.
Oh, Horth.
I had laid a decent
fight.
Yeah, I thought she won. She should have won anyway, but she would have won if she had went to her grappling earlier. I didn't know why she didn't.
Oh yeah, got you. I thought you were talking about Petrovic not finishing Liang Na in like the first 2 minutes of the fight.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, she took her to round 3 and then kicked her out of the UFC. A very sad day.
Yeah, I'll pass. This is no bueno. It's Jamie Lynn Horth should win, but I'm not finding out again at minus 205.
Honestly, Ivana's bigger, an inch taller, 4 inches of reach. I know that Jamie could get top control. I'm not convinced that she'll keep it. I almost want the dog shot in a fight that should be much closer.
So
If that's my only handicap.
This is like a dog or pass type fight, but I think that Jamie Lynn wins, right? It's one of those ones where it's like, yeah, like I see the value, and like there's also judges coming into being considered. Like if you can get a good price on split in this one, like that, I could see a split decision there, no problem. So you can get like a split at plus 350, plus 400.
Yeah, I'm looking it up for you exactly. And I feel like it's a very similar fight to the one we were just talking about at a turn, the Jack Shore's Zalal fight. Like it's trappy. Like there's something strange feeling, but the favorite should win.
Side, though. I feel like they're giving you such a good number on Petrovic that you kind of have to take it. but I
Right.
also think that Jamie Lynn Horth wins. So,
But that's how you feel about Shore too, that they're giving you such a good number that you might just have to take
exactly.
it, right?
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Split is a terrible plus 225.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
geez. All right.
All right. Yeah, I'm passing.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to
Yeah,
my
just
guns.
pass. Yeah, just pass. Unless
Pass.
you want
Not
to like
this
take
one.
fight goes, you want to take like fight goes the distance and this and like the Jordan and Henry fight and parlay those or something, or like
Okay.
the City. Like, there's a lot of fight goes the distance prop plays you could if you want to just like parlay a bunch of fight goes the distance.
I
Fight
agree.
goes the distance in
Yep.
like this and like the City and Armfield and the Jordan fight.
Yep.
And maybe even the Shore and Zalal fight, but that one is a little bit trickier in my opinion.
Yep.
And the Zahabi and Munoz fights, like
Yep.
bunch of pretty
Do it up.
pretty
Take me
comfortably
there.
probably going to go to a decision.
I like
and
that
even
a
the main
lot,
event.
actually.
Yeah, and ultimately in this fight here, we don't have to find out. I already have like 6, 7 different money lines, or okay, we have another 2-leg parlay that we laid 2. Like, there's plenty of other stuff. Just pass every once in a while. It's okay. You're gonna be all right.
100%.
I promise. And if you see someone as a gigantic live underdog live, but you're like, well, the fight's kind of closer than I think they're saying, then take a live dog shot or something. But sometimes you're gonna feel better when at the end of the day you just passed. Sometimes.
Hey, and just so everybody knows, full disclosure, we did drop 2 units on Derek the Black Beast Lewis at plus 150. So that's a full play that we are now locked in on. We like that. We like that a lot. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, fight goes the distance in the main event. We got Derek the Black Beast Lewis. We've got Cody Gibson and Yusuf Salal in a little parlay lay.
Degen. We got Eamon Zahabi. But we
Charles
also like
Jourdain.
Yep.
Alexander
a lot of close
Romanov.
fights, a lot of good fights.
Yeah, listen, we've given you plenty of picks. It's okay to pass one here and there. We're live every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Amazing guests, amazing chat. Just listen, there's a reason we love doing this thing. And like, man, we've been on a run here quietly. Chronic Combat doing very solidly, trying to keep things on the right track here. Very successful month betting, and that's all around, not just UFC, but I mean, my big days were on Saturdays of the last month. So happy to keep the gravy train rolling. And listen, follow me on Picket if you want to see all the spaghetti, all the grandma's couch cushions in all of its dirtiness. And follow me on BetMMA if you want to see the cleaned up version. But no matter what, we're having a great time. And before the guru gives us our proper outro, Aaron, what do you got to say for the people?
I've got to say, it's nice to have fight night back in Canada. The first fight night in over 5 years that we've had in Canada. So Edmonton's cold as hell, though. I really wish that they would have come at like a better time of the year, but it is what it is. I was out there in my winter coat today being like, wow, I forgot what cold feels like. And now here we are. But thank you guys for having me on. As always, I appreciate you. Always fun to be on the show and chop it up with you guys. And I also really enjoy doing this because it gets me more excited for the fights, like going matchup by matchup and trying to visualize what's going to happen. Always kind of like makes fight nights more enjoyable for me.
Aaron, seriously, I appreciate your time personally. I know TV appreciates your time. Our viewers appreciate your time. We have such a wonderful time breaking down the fights with you. It's really a pleasure to get to chat with you and get your opinions on it all. Gets us excited about it as well. Getting to chat with just a smart and fun guy such as yourself. So seriously, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, everybody, make sure you're following Aaron if you're not already. I don't know how you could possibly be an MMA fan and not following Aaron. It just doesn't compute. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We will see you next week. What do we got going next week? It's a UFC Vegas 100, the love letter to the Apex. Where at Darren, do you know where they're holding the cards when the Apex is going to be shut down, but they're still going to be doing Vegas cards? Like, where are they?
They'll probably just do it on the road. Are they still going to do Vegas cards? I haven't heard anything like that.
Interesting.
They'll probably just take the show on the road.
Yeah, that's what I thought full time, but I thought maybe they were going to still, because I saw they were booking for like UFC Vegas 101 and 102, I thought, but maybe I missed all that.
Yeah, I don't think the construction starts till March, if I'm not mistaken. But
I thought the construction was. I thought the last Vegas card was going to be in
sort
November.
of has already started. They've already like kind of broken ground on where they're going to expand it to, but I think it's going to be closed. Don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure. So this isn't like some report or whatever. I think March to like November or something like that. but I
Interesting.
don't know that for sure. That's just if I recall correctly, but I don't know.
That's fair. Hey, listen, we appreciate that. And guess what? It's actually next week is going to be the last UFC Vegas card of the year. So very, very cool. We'll get to break that down. Thank you all so much for being here. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. You can follow my unbelievable co-host, TV Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, Pickett, Tapology, and Bet MMA. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, Pickett, Tapology, and Bet MMA. Guys, be safe out there. Let's cash some tickets. Until next time.